Hi everybody, my name is Natalie Ramos and I'm a Better Living for Texans agent here in Bexar County for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. I'm really excited to be bringing you our very last session of our Get the Facts series, and it's Get the Facts on added sugars. And so today we will discuss how added sugars can sneak into some of our favorite foods. We will also be discussing how to avoid added sugars in our daily diet, as well as the negative health effects of added sugars.
Okay, so getting the facts on added sugars. So before we get into limiting added sugars from our daily diet, we'll talk about carbohydrates. So what are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are the body's main source of energy, and they come in three forms. They come in the form of fiber, starch, and sugar. So as you can see from these pictures here, fiber occurs in a lot of our favorite fruits and vegetables naturally. And then we also see some table sugar or other forms of sugar such as honey, and then our starchy vegetables like our potatoes, our sweet potatoes, and our corn. So what is an added sugar versus a natural sugar? So a natural sugar is things that come from nature that you don't need to add sugar to because they are naturally sweet. For example, you can see the picture of the donut and the apple. And the soda in this picture, as well as the grains. So whole grains are also a form of natural sugar. And the strawberry and the cupcake is added sugar. A lot of our baked goods, our ice creams, anything you add sugar to is an added sugar. And then natural sugars also occur in dairy, such as milk. Lactose is a type of sugar, and fructose is sugar that comes from fruit. So what are the recommendations of added sugars? Unfortunately we need to limit our added sugar intake, so less than 10% of our total calories per day. So if you're a normal, healthy person, based on a 2,000 calorie diet, this would be less than 50 grams or only 12 teaspoons of sugar per day. What are the negative health effects of eating too many added sugars? So dental cavities, so eating too much sugar, you can definitely get some cavities from doing that. Also unwanted weight gain, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and diabetes, which is a big one. And nutrient deficiencies. Eating too much sugar can cause your body to have nutrient deficiencies. So how do we avoid eating too many added sugars? I know a lot of people have that sweet tooth after dinner. You want to bite into a slice of cake. But a big thing that we really should do is read our labels, because added sugars can sneak in to some of our favorite foods without us knowing. So looking at our new nutrition label, we are able to see the amount of added sugars that are added to that food product. So for example, if you were to look on this nutrition label to the left, this is most likely a soda, and it's showing you how many total carbohydrates there are. So remember at the very beginning when I discussed the types of carbohydrates, there's sugar, starch, and fiber. So total carbohydrate reflects those three things added together. And so with the nutrition label on the left, it shows total carbohydrates of 65 grams. And then out of that, the sugars are 65 grams and include 65 grams of added sugar. So basically, this is soda. So soda really doesn't have any nutritional value, and it's all added sugars into it that go into making soda. So that shows you there that it's over 130% of our daily value. Remember, it needs to be under 10%. So this is well over. So that's why we should avoid drinking too many sugar-sweetened beverages, because they aren't really giving us any nutritional benefit, just a lot of calories and sugar, unfortunately. And then this other label on the right, I'm going to assume that this is maybe a box of cookies. It says the serving size at the very top. It says there's 2 servings per container. And then the serving size is about 6 pieces. So let's pretend these are 6 pieces of cookies. So if we go down to the total carbohydrates, it shows you there 37 grams total. But out of those carbohydrates, you're getting some dietary fiber. So maybe the cookies have flour in there, or some natural grains in there. So that's where you're getting the fiber from. So that's 4 grams, and that incorporates our total carbohydrates. So we're also getting sugars. Maybe it's an apple cookie or some type of fruit in there, and you're getting 12 grams of sugars from that. But then there comes in blue our added sugars. So this is to enhance the flavor of those cookies. And that is 20% of our daily value. So it's a little high. And it shows you there that it includes 10 grams of added sugar. So always look not just at your total carbohydrates, because remember I said that fiber, it's good for us. It helps our digestion. So we need that. So it's okay to have fiber in your total carbohydrates. But the main thing that we need to look at are our added sugars. So this has 10 grams of added sugars. So how do we limit added sugars? Again, like I said, reducing our portion size. Maybe instead of those 6 cookies on that box, we could have had 3 to stay under that 10% daily value. So reducing your portion size. If you have a sweet tooth, maybe biting into some fruit to satisfy your sweet tooth naturally. Having fresh, frozen, or canned fruit for dessert. So a lot of our canned fruit, sometimes they're in heavy syrup. So we really need to double check and look at that label to make sure that there's no syrups added and that it's only in its own natural juice. Also drinking fewer sweetened beverages. So a good way to add up those calories is drinking a soda or maybe a fruit juice that has no natural fruit juice in it, just a lot of added sugar. So just make sure to drink fewer sweetened beverages. Have water instead. Maybe put some of your favorite fruit in a glass of water to give it some natural sweetness. And also using less table sugar. So instead of throwing sugar into your coffee, maybe go for 1 scoop of sugar instead of 2 or 3. Or adding sugar to your oatmeal or breakfast cereal. Some people like to do that. Just try not to avoid having too much table sugar or just adding sugar to some of your favorite things. And just the big way to avoid added sugars in our diet is just reading that nutrition facts label. Just taking that extra time, like here in the visuals, just make sure, look at that front of the label, make sure it says 100% juice, no sugar added, and then just to be on the safe side, turn it over and read that label and make sure there's no third line showing that it has added sugars in it.
Okay, so I wanted to show you some real life examples of some food products that might have a little bit too much added sugars or too many added sugars. So this is a great example. Dried fruit. When you dry fruit, you're really dehydrating a lot of the nutrients from it and leaving nothing but sugar. Also, some raisins and cranberries actually have added sugars in them. So for example, these are dried cranberries, and I just wanted to turn it over and let you know when you look at that third line of the added sugars, it includes 27 grams of added sugars in these dried cranberries. So I know a lot of people like to throw dried cranberries on some of their favorite desserts or even on salads, but just be careful because those calories can really add up, and unfortunately a high amount of sugar too. Okay, another real life example I have are canned fruit. So for example, these are canned pineapples. And so when you're buying canned pineapples, just make sure to look at that label and make sure that it says no sugar added. Sometimes it'll even say in its own natural juice. So when you go to the store, take the extra time and read that label in the front because sometimes it can be in really small print. And so you just want to make sure you're not getting the canned fruit with added syrup. So for example, on the contrast here, these are in its own natural juice, and these have yams in syrup. So these are yams in syrup. So just make sure that you're reading and double checking that they don't have any heavy syrups, high fructose corn syrup, or any added sugars. And so just to make sure, you can always go the extra mile and read the label and make sure there's no added sugars on that third line, or look at the ingredients too, and it should just say pineapple in water or pineapple in pineapple juice. Another sneaky way and a very popular way with children are our sports drinks. Read those sugar labels and make sure that there's not too many. This is also just unneeded calories with really no nutritional benefits. They are beneficial if you are an athlete and need some electrolytes. That's the only good thing about these, but just be careful not to drink too many because they do have an excess amount of sugar. And so what are the ways we can limit our daily intake of added sugars is just by eating natural sugar, like I said, our fruits, our vegetables, our whole grains, maybe sipping on some water instead of soda. Also, remember, the negative health effects of eating too many added sugars can really add up and lead to poor health. So just make sure not to add too many sugars to your daily diet. Stay within that 10% range. And if you have any more questions or if you're looking for healthier alternatives, go to choosemyplate.gov or our USDA websites for more information. Thank you.